Hello, today I'm going to introduce some unsuccessful stories of startup. The first unsuccessful story was about a startup that's actually existing in the business, and maybe after the first year or second year they started to grow and they searched for an investor to put funds in the business and to get the fund from him. After a long discussion with one of the investors, they agreed that, okay, the investor is going to give the fund to the business. And based on that promise, they started to hire people, started to purchase inventory, started to get more or a larger space of office. And after that, the investor disappeared and didn't give them the funds. What happened here that they spend all of their liquidity in some things based on a promise of the investor that he is going to give the fund to the business. My advice here is to not take any actions regarding spending the fund based on a promise unless you get this fund secured in your bank account. So first things first, you need to get the funds secured, and I mean by securing that you need to get the funds in your bank account first, and then to start taking the actions and spending the funds based on your growth objectives and your actions in order to grow your business. The second story was about another startup actually that was in the growth stage, and they started to search for investors to fund their business in this stage. Once they found investors and get the fund from the investors, but unfortunately they didn't state clearly in the agreement what will be the equity stake of each party. We have here the founders and maybe the co-founders and also one new investor. They didn't state clearly in the agreement or in the contract the equity stake. This results in a conflict between founders and the co-founders and the investors and the investor later on. My advice here is to make everything clear in your agreement and the contract. The third unsuccessful story was about the management style of the company. In each stage of the business, in early stage and in the growth and in the maturity stage of the life cycle of any business, you need to change your management style according to the stage of your life cycle of the business. So maybe the old style of your management doesn't match the requirements and the needs regarding the growth. For example, you might need to take some decisions. You might need to think in a different way. You might need to restructure your operations in a different way in order to secure the growth that you are aiming for. So here my advice that you need to check your management style and change it based on the stage of your life cycle of the business. Another unsuccessful story was related to the implementation of your idea. Remember that you might get a new idea or a good idea, and the delay in the implementations allow another one to launch your idea in the market. So implementing your idea from another one was mainly because the delay of the implementation, because you didn't take the actions quickly. You didn't take your idea in a practical way to put it in the business and you get operations and to put it in the market. Another unsuccessful story was that some founders, some people, they get a new idea and they liked the idea and they stick and commit to their idea without verifying the idea in the market. You may see that the idea is good, but who told you that the market is going to accept your idea? Who told you that the market is going to accept your product? My advice here that you need to validate your idea in the market. You need to apply the MVP, minimal viable product, that you need to launch your idea and launch your product, start to market your product in the market on the minimum investment. This is in a very short period of time, so you need to check whether the product and the idea will be acceptable in the market or not. Actually, because the MVP allows you to detect whether your idea will be acceptable or not. If it's acceptable, so you have the option and the opportunity to expand and apply your idea and apply your business in a larger scale because actually you verified the idea before. But if the MVP resulted in the idea is not acceptable in the market, your product might not be is not sold in the market, people or customers didn't like the product, didn't like the idea, so now here you get impression that, okay, so far I have to stop here, maybe to change the idea, maybe to change the product, maybe to listen to the feedback you get from the customers, or to stop working in your idea and search for another better one in order to don't lose your money in this risky implementation of your idea. I hope these unsuccessful stories are helpful for you to start a good and successful startup. Thank you.